Welcome. Today, we're stepping into that really intricate space, the world of our dreams. Specifically, we're going to explore the symbolism when dreams start talking about, well, about betrayal, trying to understand the feelings underneath.
Yes, it's a fascinating area. Dreams have this incredible way of using images, metaphors, to speak about these deep emotional experiences like betrayal. It's almost a language of its own.
Okay, so let's dive in with an image that, well, it feels quite vivid. Imagine walking down the street,
Yeah.
right? But it's really narrow, almost pressing in on you.
Mm-hmm.
And you just know someone is behind you, but you can't see them.
Yes.
Feel like you can't turn around, and then suddenly this
Yeah.
this cold sting
Mhm.
in your back.
Ah, yes. That narrow, constricting path. It often mirrors a sense of feeling confined in life, doesn't it?
Yeah, like trapped.
Exactly. Trapped in a situation, maybe a relationship, or even feeling limited by your own beliefs. And that inability to turn around, that speaks volumes.
About not wanting to face something.
Precisely. A fear, perhaps, or an unwillingness to confront what you instinctively feel is back there, that unseen presence. It could be like a suspicion that hasn't quite surfaced consciously yet, a lurking anxiety.
And the sting itself. So sudden, so cold, even without knowing who did it.
That's key, isn't it? The pain arrives before the explanation. Betrayal often hits like that, a sudden wound, disorientation before you can even process the source, the coldness. That could be the emotional shock, the abrupt severing of warmth and trust.
Then there's this fleeting image, maybe, of a face. Someone you know, someone you actually trust, is the potential source of that sting. Why is that glimpse so shattering?
Because it strikes at the core of our vulnerability. When the hurt comes from someone we've let in, someone we considered safe, it's a different kind of pain.
Right.
Their absence, the silence where you expected support, it can feel louder, more profound than any angry word. It undermines your sense of security.
Okay, so the dream shifts. Now it's a dark forest, and there are these figures. Blurry, watching, silently. And you try to speak, but you can't. Your voice is just stuck.
The forest. Traditionally, that's often a symbol of the unconscious, isn't it? A place of hidden things, wilder parts of ourselves,
In truths.
perhaps. And those silent, watching figures, they could represent internalized judgment, your own guilt, maybe, or the feeling of being scrutinized by others, that feeling that everyone else knows something you don't.
And being unable to speak.
That points to suppression, difficulty articulating the pain, maybe feeling silenced by the situation or by those judging eyes. That sense you mentioned that they knew, it taps into that awful feeling of being knowingly let down.
There's also this really strange mix of feelings that comes up. Heavy stuff like guilt, shame, anger. But underneath, somehow, a kind of relief. It seems contradictory.
It does on the surface, but think about the energy it takes to hold on to an illusion, to deny truth that your gut might already sense. The betrayal, however painful, shatters that denial. And releasing that tension, that effort of holding up the facade, well, that can bring a surprising sense of relief. Even amidst the storm of other emotions, it's the subconscious saying, finally, it's out.
Huh, okay. Then the scene changes again. Dimly lit room, empty chairs around a table, except for one figure, cloaked, unidentifiable, sitting opposite. And their gaze, just intense, unspoken things hanging in the air.
An empty table, empty chairs, that often speaks of loss, doesn't it? Broken connections, maybe the absence of support you feel you should have.
Yeah, definitely a sense of absence.
And the cloaked figure. The unknown, it could represent the unclear motives behind the betrayal, or perhaps it's pointing towards a hidden aspect of yourself involved in this dynamic.
Yourself, how so?
We'll get to that. But that intense silent gaze, it's the weight of the unsaid, the unresolved issues demanding attention.
And then you realize, looking at this cloaked figure, it's like a distorted reflection of you.
Yeah.
That feels huge.
It often is. This where dreams of betrayal can become incredibly insightful about our own inner world. It suggests the possibility of internal conflict, maybe projecting feelings you find unacceptable in yourself onto this figure.
Like a self-betrayal.
It's certainly a possibility to consider. Are there ways you feel you've let yourself down, ignored your own needs or values? The dream might be using this external drama to mirror an internal one.
Wow. Okay. And then there's this feeling of being completely frozen, stuck as this figure, this reflection starts to reach out. Pure powerlessness.
That paralysis, it often mirrors feeling overwhelmed in the waking situation, doesn't it? Feeling trapped, unable to act, to defend yourself or change things.
Definitely.
And the outstretched hand, is it offering connection, however disturbing? Or is it reaching out to inflict more pain? That ambiguity reflects the fear and confusion around the betrayal itself.
So you wake up, heart pounding,
Yeah.
and just these questions swirling. Who?
Yeah.
Why? It's so raw.
And those are natural first questions. But the deeper exploration the dream invites often goes beyond just identifying the who. It pushes towards why. Why did I trust here? What vulnerability was touched? Why does this specific breach feel so shattering to me?
That shifts the focus inward, doesn't it?
It does, towards self-understanding.
And sometimes the feeling isn't just about the present hurt. It feels older, like an echo, like a memory from before you even knew you needed guards up. Maybe back to childhood. That kind of naive trust in, well, parents, maybe.
Yes. That resonance with the past is very common. A present betrayal can absolutely reactivate older wounds, perhaps forgotten experiences of being let down, maybe from those foundational relationships.
Even if you didn't fully recognize it back then.
Especially then. That tiny flicker of doubt you might recall even in childhood trust. It's like an early, innate understanding that opening yourself up carries inherent risk.
It's like those old hurts are stored away somewhere. Like an unread letter, maybe.
That's a beautiful metaphor, an unread letter. Because suppressed emotional wounds, they don't just disappear, they sit there in the unconscious. Waiting. And then a new experience, one that feels similar, comes along and rips open that old envelope. All the old pain, disappointment, anger. It floods out, mingling with the new hurt.
And that can lead to repeating patterns, right? Building trust, getting hurt, feeling those old childhood needs for safety bubble up again. It feels like a cycle.
It can certainly become one. We often unconsciously seek to heal old wounds in our current relationships. That deep yearning for safety, for unconditional love that perhaps wasn't fully met, can paradoxically lead us back into similar dynamics if we're not aware. It makes building new trust feel incredibly fragile sometimes.
So you start thinking about your own part in it. Not blaming yourself, but acknowledging the choice to be vulnerable, to trust, because of that fundamental human need for connection, for wholeness.
That's a really important shift. Recognizing our agency, we choose to open ourselves, driven by this deep, primal yearning for connection, for union, you might say. It's fundamental.
But that yearning can also make us vulnerable.
It can. Unchecked desire, unexamined needs, they can leave us exposed. It's the paradox of intimacy.
Thinking back to the sting in the back, that specific image, does that carry particular weight? Maybe around power, violation, even intimacy?
It certainly can. A blow from behind suggests vulnerability, being caught unaware. It can symbolize a deep breach of trust, especially in intimate contexts where you expect safety. It can feel like a violation of your autonomy, your personal space.
And could it? Could it ever relate to punishing oneself for certain feelings or desires?
That's a more complex layer, but yes, sometimes dreams can reflect internal conflict about our own desires or needs, especially if we deem them unacceptable. The dream might enact a form of self-punishment symbolically.
It connects back to those childhood whispers, maybe. Times you learn to push down feelings to keep the peace, avoid conflict.
Exactly. When we learn early on to suppress parts of ourselves, our anger, our needs, our authentic voice, those parts don't vanish. They get, well, sort of broken off, disowned.
And dreams bring them back.
Dreams often provide the stage for these disowned parts to reemerge, demanding integration. They force us to confront what we've tried to avoid, often through powerful symbols and emotions.
So the dream really is telling a story, isn't it? Using its own language.
Precisely. The wound isn't just the event, it's the narrative woven around it. A story of trust, love, loss, power, betrayal. Written in the language of the body, of emotion, of symbol.
And the figures in the dream, sometimes it feels like it's not just one person who hurt you, but many people. Or even parts of yourself again.
That's a key insight. Dream figures are rarely just literal stand-ins for people in our lives. They're more like symbolic vessels. They can embody aspects of different people, societal pressures, internalized beliefs, and yes, very often disowned or feared parts of our own psyche.
So where does all this lead if the dream reveals all this? Hurt, complexity, self-involvement. How do you move forward? Is it about fixing it or something else?
Often the movement isn't towards a neat resolution, but towards acceptance.
Acceptance of the betrayal. That sounds hard.
Acceptance of the wound, perhaps, and acceptance of the human condition. We all hurt and we all get hurt. Betrayal, in some form, is part of the tapestry. Moving beyond blame towards understanding the dynamics, including our own role. There's a kind of wisdom in embracing the imperfection of it all.
Like finding beauty in the flaws.
In a way, finding value in the understanding itself rather than demanding a simple solution that might not exist.
After the intensity fades, sometimes there's this lingering feeling, like the scent of rain after a storm has passed. Not heavy, but present.
What a lovely image. Yes, the scent of rain. It's just the emotional residue, the subtle shift in perspective that remains even after the dream's vividness is gone. It's a lasting imprint.
And sometimes, maybe later, an image comes of, say, an open field. Peaceful, vast. And maybe you see that figure again. But they're distant now. Neutral, just observing.
That sounds like a transition, doesn't it? The open field. A space of potential, of possibility. And the figure shifting from antagonist or reflection to a neutral observer. That suggests a move away from judgment towards self-observation, watching your own journey unfold.
And maybe feeling that weight, that wound, start to dissolve. Not disappear, but change. Become less heavy. Maybe even replaced by a kind of warmth spreading.
That speaks to transformation rather than just healing. It's the result of letting go of the resistance, perhaps. Embracing the whole experience, the light and the shadow. The warmth is often a sign of growing self-compassion, of integration.
Integration.
Right.
Seeing yourself in a different way.
Right.
Maybe seeing. Like in a liquid mirror.
Yeah.
Your younger self, the child you were.
Encountering the child within. That's often profoundly healing. To see and acknowledge that vulnerable part of you, the one who first learned about trust and perhaps about hurt too.
Remembering both the good and the bad.
Yes. Remembering the love received, but also acknowledging the moments of pain or misunderstanding. And if that child in the mirror smiles, that's acceptance. A deep understanding emerging.
And maybe that's where forgiveness comes in. Not necessarily forgiving the other person, but forgiving yourself.
Yeah.
For trusting, for hoping, for being open enough to get hurt.
That, I believe, is often the absolute core of healing from betrayal. Forgiving yourself for being human, for being vulnerable, for needing connection. Recognizing that those qualities, while they open us to pain, are also what make richness and love possible in our lives.
So even if that figure, the betrayer symbol, fades away, their presence, the lesson, kind of remains.
The external trigger might fade, yes, but the internal shift, the insight gained, the connection made with those deeper parts of yourself that endures, it becomes part of you.
And then maybe just this feeling of resting, lying down, feeling the earth beneath you, a sense of peace, all those fragments of the dream starting to settle, integrate.
That settling is crucial. Allowing the insights from the unconscious, from the dream state, to gently permeate your waking awareness. Not forcing it, just letting it become part of your understanding.
So you wake up differently, not necessarily with answers, but maybe with quiet potential. A feeling that the dream's work continues somehow.
Exactly. The dream experience shifts from being purely subconscious to subtly influencing your conscious life. It becomes a quiet guide, informing your feelings, your choices perhaps, in ways you're not even fully aware of yet.
And maybe there's a final whisper as you wake. This is only the echo.
Suggesting the meaning continues to unfold, doesn't it? Not as a burden, but as a resonance. A reminder of the journey, of your resilience, and importantly, of your ongoing capacity to trust and to love, even with the knowledge of past wounds.
Wow. So this whole journey through a betrayal dream,
Yeah.
it really unpacks so much, doesn't it? From the narrow street showing that feeling of being trapped to the unseen presence as anxiety, that cold sting. The silent figures as judgment. The cloaked figure as the unknown, or even parts of ourselves. It really shows how dreams talk in symbols about these deep hurts.
They truly do. It underlines how these unsettling narratives aren't just noise. They're stories from our inner depths, guiding us towards understanding ourselves better, towards acceptance.
It really makes you think about your own dreams, doesn't it? The landscapes you walk through at night. What stories might be hidden there, even in the ones that feel uncomfortable?
Absolutely. They offer such valuable insights. Even the difficult ones, perhaps especially the difficult ones, they can be real opportunities for growth.
A fascinating perspective. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the echoes of the dreaming mind.